Hi, Phanessa here. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate how to crochet the V-stitch slouch beanie. So this was one of my very first patterns. I have been trying to update all my older patterns and making videos for them. So we'll start with this one. So this beanie here is about 11 inches. I'm just going to use some orange yarn I found. It is October, so I figure it'd be appropriate. You'll need two different crochet hooks, one for the brim and one for the body. So I've got a size 7 and a 9. It's 4.5 and 5.5. Make sure you have a pair of scissors, tapestry needle, and a tape measure. Alright, let's get started. Okay, so I'm just going to crochet a sample. So starting with the smaller size, I've got my 4.5 millimeter here. I'm going to make a slip knot. And for this here, I chained 9 stitches. So that's about 2 inches of your brim. So just adjust how you want for the size you want. The number of chains will determine the height of your brim. So for the 2 inches, it'll be 9 chains. I'm going to work 5 just for the sample here. I've got 3, 4, 5. Now we're going to work into the second chain from the hook. Here's the first, there's the second, and I like to turn and work into the back humps of the chain. So here's 1, 2, work 1 single crochet into the second chain from the hook. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. So this is a single crochet. Now you have 3 chains left. Work 1 single crochet in each chain until the end. So if you have 10, just go ahead and work all the way across. 1 single crochet in each chain stitch. Okay, so I have 4 single crochets. Okay, row 2, chain 1, turn. That's not going to count as a stitch. So we're going to work into the back loop of every stitch. So this here is your chain stitch. So we're going to work into the back loop of this very first stitch here. Typically you go through 2 loops like this. This is the back loop here, and this is the front loop. So insert your hook into the back loop of the first single crochet, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. 1 single crochet, and then into the next stitch through the back loop, you want to work another single crochet. So you'll continue this all the way across, working 1 single crochet in the back loop of every stitch. Count your stitches to make sure you have the same amount of stitches. Sometimes I'm not paying attention and I'll miss one, and then I notice later that the brim is getting smaller. Okay, so now you're just going to repeat that last row until you're happy with the circumference of the beanie. Chain 1 into the back loops of every stitch. You will work 1 single crochet. Okay, so you'll repeat that and end on the side of the beginning tail. So you want to end on the same side, which will give you an odd number of rows. Okay, so I'm going to stop here. I've completed on the same side as the beginning tail over here. Okay. Give it a little bit of a stretch. And this one is just a little over 9 inches. You don't want to measure it while it's stretched too much, because when you start working on the edge, it'll tighten it a little bit. So when you start off your first row here, see how that's how much it stretches. So it really does depend on your tension and sometimes the yarn as well. Now I'm going to seam them together. So grabbing the beginning tail end and placing it in front of the last row, you're going to insert your hook into the first stitch on this side. Okay, now we're going to work into the back loop of the last row here. So into the first stitch, I'm going to just go into the back loop, yarn over, and pull through all those loops, and then the one on your hook as well. So you're working a slip stitch. Okay, the second stitch here, and then through the back loop of the next stitch on the back side, and then just continue all the way across. My last stitch. Okay, so turn it over, and that's your seam right there. Okay, now you want to switch over to the larger hook size. So we're going to work a setup row, what I call a setup row, basically a foundation to start the pattern for the body of the beanie. And I'm going to be working one single crochet on each row. So basically you see the ridges here, that's a row, and then in between it is also another row. So I'm going to chain one. So you need an even number of stitches for the pattern. Right into the same stitch here, I'm going to work one single crochet. And then right on top of the next row here, you want to insert between, you see how it kind of looks like V's? You want to insert your hook into the center of the top one. Okay, so you can see that this one is in here, so it looks a little bit more seamless. So one single crochet, and then in between, make sure you go through both loops. So right here, you'll go through this loop and this loop, okay? 2 loops. Here back at this row here where those little tiny V's. So you want to go into that one right there. And work one single crochet. See, if you look here, it gives it a seamless stitch going up. That's what we're doing with the ones on these rows. Okay, so continue that all the way around, making sure you have an even number of stitches. If you don't, just add another stitch, meaning just work 2 stitches into 1 stitch. Okay, I'm working into the last stitch here, and I counted my stitches, and I do have an even number of stitches. Now you're going to work a slip stitch to the first stitch of the round. Alternatively, you can go through the back. It looks better if you slip through from the back. So take your hook off of your loop, insert your hook into the first stitch, grab the loop here, place it on your hook, and pull it through to the back. Okay, so that just makes it look a little cleaner. All right, so we're going to start the stitch pattern. Round 1, you're going to chain 3. This counts as the first double crochet. And then into the same stitch, you're going to work 1 double crochet. So you want to yarn over, into the same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, and pull through 2. So I'm going to skip the next stitch into the very next one. This time you're going to work 2 double crochets. Okay, there's the first one. And there's the second one. So you're going to repeat that all the way around. Skip 1, 2 double crochets into the next. Skip 1, 2 double crochets in the next. Okay, continue all the way around. I'm going to place a marker into the 3rd chain so I can show you where to join. there's a stitch here. You can't really see it. And this is the second, and then this is the third. So that is the third chain from the beginning when you chain 3. That's where you'll work your slip stitch to join the round. I'm almost at the beginning of the round. My last set here. Okay, so there is the third chain. That's where you want to insert your hook and join the round. So it'll be into the third chain from the beginning chain 3. Now you're going to slip stitch in between the 2 double crochets, well, between the chain 3 and the other double crochet. We'll call it the V stitch. Insert and then just slip stitch, because you do want to start in the center of the V stitch. We're going to chain 3, work another double crochet into the same space. Now we're just going to work a V stitch, 2 double crochets in between these V stitches from below. So right in between into the space. And then you just repeat all the way across. Okay, I'm almost at the end. I have my last set here, 2 double crochets, and then slip stitch into the third chain from the beginning chain 3. And then slip stitch into the center of these 2 stitches. Okay, so that's what you're going to repeat all the way around until you're happy with the size. So this was originally a slouch beanie, and I will have instructions for a fitted beanie. So I started my decrease here. When you measure, you want to make sure you measure from the bottom of the brim. It was 9 inches when I stopped and started decreasing. So if you want your beanie to be fitted beanie, you'll stop sooner. The decrease is about 2 inches. So if you wanted a 9-inch beanie, you'll stop at 7. So if you don't want to chain 3, you can work a standing double crochet, and that'll be easier to work into when you get back around, and it'll look more like a double crochet instead of the chain stitches here. So you want to pull this up to the height of your double crochet, and then place your finger here so it doesn't slip off. You want to come forward around that loop to the back and back into this space here. Pick up a loop, pull up, okay, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So that would be a standing double crochet. And when you get back around, it's easier to slip stitch to join, because you'll see it clearly on the top here, like that. Okay, I'm going to work a few rounds and then we'll start decreasing. I'm going to stop here and start to decrease. So round 1 of decrease, you want to again work a slip stitch in order to start from right here. Chain 3 or work the standing double crochet. So we're going to work the first set of V stitches. Okay. I'm going to work another set of V stitches. Okay, so that's 4 stitches total. In the next V stitch, I'm just going to work 1 double crochet. And then, so in here and in the next V stitch, I'm going to work a double crochet 2 together. So you're going to yarn over, insert your hook into the same V stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so we're not going to complete the last step. We're going to yarn over and then come to this V stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, and then with 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all 3. So that's the double crochet 2 together. And then to sort of complete this V-stitch, you'll work 1 double crochet. Okay, so we're going to repeat. You're going to work 2 V-stitches, so that's 4. And then we're going to work 1 double crochet, a decrease, and 1 double crochet into the next couple of sets. Okay, so I'm going to work 2 sets of V-stitches. That's 4 stitches, just like you've been doing. Okay, there's the 2 sets. Into the next V-stitch, just 1 double crochet. And then now we're going to work a double crochet 2 together into this stitch and this stitch. So yarn over into the same space, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over into the next V-stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Complete it by yarning over and pulling through all 3 loops. And then 1 double crochet into the same V-stitch. Okay, so you're going to repeat that all the way around. That's 1 V-stitch, 2 V-stitch, and then just 1 double crochet here. And then I'm ready for the decrease again. So work the first part in the same V-stitch and work the second part into the next V-stitch. And then 1 double crochet into the same V-stitch. Okay, 1 double crochet, and then decrease into these 2 sets here. This is the last decrease I have. And then don't forget the last double crochet into the same V-stitch. Slip stitch to the 3rd chain or the first standing double crochet to join your round. Round 2 of decrease. Make sure you slip stitch into the center of the V-stitch. Chain 3 or work the standing double crochet. If you chain 3, that is your first double crochet. Okay, so we have our first set of V-stitches here. In the last round, we worked 2 V-stitches before we started the decrease. This is the double crochet, the decrease here between these 2, and then the other double crochet. So now we're going to just work 1 set in between the decreases. So in the next stitch, you're going to work 1 double crochet into the V-stitch, and then we're going to work the decrease again over into this one first, and then the next one. So yarn over into the same space, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, into the next V-stitch, yarn over, insert in there, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through all 3, and then complete this V here with a double crochet. So now we're going to repeat. We're going to work 1 set of V-stitch, and then just the next one is just 1 double crochet and then a decrease. So into the same stitch first, or into the same space, work your first half. Into the next V-stitch, work your second half, and then 1 double crochet into that same V-stitch. So basically you have just 1 set now in between these 2 sets. These 2 sets is what completes your decrease. These 4 stitches decrease to 3. See? So repeat that all the way around. I've just completed my double crochet from the set where we decreased right here. That's the decrease. Now I only have one V-stitch left. I'm just going to work one V-stitch. So if you don't have enough V-stitches to work another set of decreases, just work one V-stitch. I'm going to slip stitch to the first stitch here. It'll be your third chain from the beginning chain 3 or on top of your standing double crochet. Round 3 of decrease, I'm going to slip stitch to the V-stitch and work my standing double crochet. Of course, you can just chain 3. Okay, so now we're just going to jump right into the decrease with this one and this one. So the current V-stitch and the next one. Okay, so work your first half into the same space, work your second half into the next space, and then one double crochet. Okay, the repeat is going to be one double crochet, decrease between 2 V-stitches, and then one double crochet into that same space there. So repeat that all the way around. One double crochet in the next V-stitch, work your double crochet 2 together between this first one and this next V-stitch, and then one double crochet into the same V-stitch. I happen to have enough stitches to work the repeat. Again, if you don't, then just work a V-stitch into the last V-stitch. Slip stitch to join. You can see it's starting to curve and decrease. Round 4 of decrease, slip stitch into the V-stitch, chain 3 or work your standing double crochet. Okay, so now we're going to work a decrease between this first one and the next V-stitch. Okay, and then we're not working a double crochet to complete this. We're going to go straight into the next decrease. So you'll work your first half into the same space, your second half into the next space, and then you'll repeat that all the way around. First half in here, second half in here. So previously we've worked first half, second half. Okay, so at the end here, I've just completed a decrease. I'm going to complete the next decrease. And of course, there's no more V-stitches for me to work in. So to complete this V-stitch, I'm just going to work one double crochet into that same space. Join with the slip stitch to the third chain of your beginning chain 3 or on top of your standing double crochet. Okay, it's shaping out nicely. Okay, now we're just going to work single crochets and decrease from there. So you're going to chain 1, work 3 single crochets. This does not count as a stitch, so into the first stitch, work 1 single crochet and then 1 in the next 2 stitches, each of the next 2. So I have 3 single crochets and then single crochet 2 together. So to do that, you're going to insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, insert your hook into the next stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop. So you've got 3 loops, yarn over, pull through all 3. So repeat 3 single crochets, 1, 2, 3, and then decrease into the next stitch, pull up a loop, into the next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3 loops. So go ahead and repeat that around. If you don't have enough to complete the repeat, just work single crochets into the remaining stitches. So here's a good example. I just completed a decrease and I only have 2 stitches left. I'm just going to work single crochets in each of the last 2 stitches. I'm going to join with a slip stitch. And then this is small enough for you to cinch up, but if you feel like it's still too big, you can repeat that last round. So you'll just chain 1 into the next stitch, into the next 2 stitches, single crochets. I'm just showing you the last round again, but for me right now would be good enough for me to close it. I'll work my decrease. 1, 2, 3, and decrease. If you have trouble finding the first stitch when you get around, place a marker when you work your very first single crochet. So here it is. Okay, I'm ready to complete this and close it up. Make sure you leave a long tail so that you can close up your beanie. Grab your tapestry needle, and you're going to run your needle through the remaining stitches back and forth. So you'll go in and then back out this way into the next stitch. It really is easier if you just did this. Hold on. Okay, so I'm just going to go this way, back here, like that. Every few stitches, and you can pull to tighten. I didn't mark the beginning, but it's right here. So this is my beginning here. I'm going to stop. I mean, you're going to pull it tight anyways. So when you cinch it up, you'll close up the top. You want to weave in your ends on the inside. So I'm just going to put that through. I just went straight down the center. And I'm going to secure this by inserting my needle into one loop. Make sure this is tight and wrap this around my needle twice. Holding on to the base, pull this through, and it just knots it up for you. Okay, then just weave it in. Don't forget the beginning tail. Weave those in. Okay, so here is the little sample of the V-stitch beanie. All right, thank you so much for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification button. You'll be notified every time I post a video. I'll see you next time.